Hello, everybody, and welcome. I'm so excited to have you all join us today. I'm Allison, the CEO of Influencer Secrets Academy, and today I have Kat here with us from the Creative Cat Studio. She is our Canva expert, and I cannot wait to dive into everything that Canva offers and all the creativity that we're expected to have all the time on social media as influencers. So I am going to turn it over to you, Kat. Share a little bit about yourself and what you do.
My name is Kat Cornell. I am a creative instructor and Canva coach, and I help small business owners learn how to use Canva specifically for their social media marketing. It's an extremely competitive market, and knowing exactly how to put yourself out there so that you stand out from everyone else is really key and important. And I think Canva really helps with that, with all of the tools that are available. I've been in the creative space for a little over 30 years now. I was an Adobe user ever since the first version of Photoshop 1. So I've been around for a little while, but I think Canva is a really fantastic way for people who are just starting out to create their own content without all of the overwhelm of some of those larger programs that are out there.
I love that. I personally suffer from that. Like, I love Canva, totally get overwhelmed by everything else. So I think that's amazing. So I'm just going to jump right in. I'm going to start with our questions here. Of course, everybody in our group weighed in, and the first thing that everybody wants to know who's not already using it is it worth it to pay for Canva Premium?
In my opinion, it absolutely is. I started out as a free user. I was using it for about 2 years on the free version. And that was before Canva had all of their magic tools that they have available now. And it is absolutely 100% worth it just to have access to those tools. Yes, you can do quite a lot with the free version. There's plenty of templates. There's over 100,000 templates that you can use on the free version. There's all kinds of fonts and templates you can use without having to pay. But where the magic really happens is in all of those extra things that Canva gives you, like your brand kit, which is super important for consistency, and all of the new AI features that they have in there. Plus, you get more than those 100,000 templates. You get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of templates that are available. So I personally think it is worth the investment. And if you're going to put yourself out there for your business, you kind of have to invest in your business a little bit too.
Yeah, I agree. That's really, really great advice. So what are your favorite Canva features?
Magic Resize is one of my favorites because it's a big shortcut when you're creating your content. So if you say create an Instagram post and now you need to make a Facebook post or a Pinterest post, you can use that feature, which is a pro feature, but you can use that to instantly resize your content. You may have to do a couple little tweaks, like change the alignment a little bit on the text, but it instantly creates those other formats for you without you having to cut and paste and start from scratch. So I really like that one a lot. Another one of my favorites is background remover, especially if you're working with any kind of product photo. Sometimes when you're taking some product shots, maybe there's a shadow you don't like, or maybe you're not entirely thrilled with the background that's there. You can use the background remover and basically put that product onto any other background and really give it a little bit of pizzazz when you're creating that kind of content. And then the other thing I really like is a lot of the text effects that Canva has. They've really added some brand new text effects, including some additional apps that will allow you to create gradient text and 3D style text that can really make your designs have that pop effect.
That's awesome. It's super, super interesting. Those are some of my favorite features too. I love that resize. I love that background remover. I feel like those are the things I use the most.
Me too, all the time.
Love it. Well, you brought up the brand kit, so that kind of is a good, segue into my next question, which is how can influencers maintain a consistent brand aesthetic across all their social media platforms?
That is really important, especially if you're on different social media channels, because you want your audience to be able to recognize your content within a couple of seconds.
Mhm.
And there's so much competition. It's important to have a brand set up for yourself. And that could be your colors, your fonts, maybe a logo, even the style of the content you create, like some of the templates that you might use. You're going to want to customize them to be more on a personal level for you rather than being sort of cookie cutter like everybody else, because you don't want to have, to look exactly like someone else. So the brand kit in Canva really does help with that, because then you can upload your logo, your own fonts, your own images, and all your colors. And then when you go to apply them to your designs, it's literally just one click or one drag. And then that content helps your brand be cohesive.
Yeah, I love that. It's an amazing feature. So other than the resize and the background remover, are there any other time-saving hacks that you just love using in Canva?
I like bulk create. I've really become very fond of bulk create, especially if you do like client testimonials or quotes. You can use the bulk create feature to instantly create that content for you in like a couple of seconds. You can just give it some information. You can do it right there within Canva, or you can actually import from maybe a Google spreadsheet if you want to keep your content outside to kind of keep track of it. You can use bulk create to just create hundreds of designs just like that with a couple of clicks. And you can even add images to it as well, which a lot of people don't know. They think that maybe bulk create is just for text, but you can attach images to it also. So I really like that one. And then another thing I'm really a big fan of is keeping content organized in folders so you can find it fast. I'm sure if you've gone to the homepage, you see everything. You see all of your content in one great big long list. That can be really overwhelming, especially if you're just starting out. But if you create some designated folders for maybe your favorite assets or maybe your favorite backgrounds and even the content that you're creating, keeping them all into folders is a really fast way to get your content moving without all that overwhelm.
That's awesome. Well, bulk create, that's a new one for me. I'm going to have to dive into that one.
It's a really fun feature.
Yeah, like a game changer for, people who are trying to create tons of content in, a timely fashion. I love that.
Yeah, I just did a YouTube video a few weeks back on how to bulk create Pinterest pins in about 5 minutes. And it was super fast and super easy, and it blew a lot of people's minds.
That's amazing. Well, speaking of pins, Instagram posts, and YouTube thumbnails, what are the best design practices for creating those in Canva?
You want to make sure that you're using the correct sizes. So for Pinterest, if you're going to do a Pinterest pin, you want to make sure that it's that 1000 by 1500 pixel size. Instagram recently made their profile pages to a taller version than what we're used to. It used to be square, the 1080 by 1080. Now it's more of a 1012 by 1350. So I definitely recommend, if you're going to be on Instagram and do either posts or carousels, to do it in that taller format so that you get more eyeballs on it. It fills up more of the screen on your phone. So having that taller content is a little bit better rather than the square version that they had before. And then for YouTube, you want to use some really bold colors and some larger fonts, because most people do view content from their phones. So if your text is too small, they're just going to scroll right past it because they can't read it. You have about 2 seconds to get their attention. So you want to make sure that that content is going to grab their attention, and having the bolder colors and the larger fonts will definitely help with that.
I love that. Yeah, we all have these short time frames that we're like, okay, when we keep scrolling. So yeah.
Yes.
So
yes.
Important. So I would love to shift the convo a little bit and talk about all the new AI features that are integrated with Canva. Share a little bit more about that and how we should be using that in our workflow.
They have come a long way just in the past couple of years with the AI content. A couple really fun ones are Magic Grab and Magic Edit, because you can completely transform the design that you have just by those two features. So Magic Edit will allow you to maybe remove some items that are in the background. Maybe you have a splotch on the table or a cup that you don't like, or you want to change it into something completely different, like put a phone there or something instead. You can do that with Magic Edit. And Magic Grab is really helpful if you want to pull part of that content out of the design, maybe give it a 3D effect or give it a shadow, or you can even take a subject out of one image and put it in an entirely different image using Magic Grab. And then one of the newer features that Canva just came out with is Dream Lab. And I absolutely love this one. And it lets you take text and give it a text prompt, and you can create a brand new, completely unique image with Dream Lab. And it's amazing. You can create 4 images at a time, and you can give it what parameters, like an illustration, maybe a 3D design, maybe you want a sticker, and it creates some really fun things, and it's going to be unique to you and your brand.
That's super cool and really interesting, because I feel like that just kind of further enhances the value of the Canva Pro, because one of our other speakers in this panel is an AI expert, and she was showing, a platform that she had used just really quick to do images, but there's no need to pay for another platform to do images whenever you're already paying for Canva Pro, because you have everything that you need right there.
Exactly. Those tools, it's everything all rolled into one. So whatever it is you're trying to create, you can pretty much do it all right there. And with all of the new AI technologies, and they continue to get better and better,
So cool.
It just makes it that much more valuable.
Love it. That is so cool. So let's see, next question. What are the best ways to repurpose existing content using Canva?
So you could take, let's say you do a YouTube video. You could pull snippets out of that YouTube video and create vertical reels or TikToks out of that. You could perhaps take a quote that you put in a, say, carousel post or an Instagram post, and you could turn that into a blog post. There's a lot of fun features that you can use within Canva to take one piece of content and turn it into multiple pieces of content without an extra effort, because you can do all that right there within Canva. You can add some animations perhaps to a static image so that it's a little more interactive. You can create a Pinterest post from an Instagram post by using Magic Resize. So there's quite a lot of tools at your disposal to repurpose all that content, so you're not on that content treadmill all the time having to think of new ways to do it.
That's awesome. That's so cool. So let's see, let's talk about collaborating. Are there ways for people to collaborate? Can you collaborate with a team? Or if you as an influencer have a virtual assistant, can that all be done right within your Canva account?
It absolutely can. You can share your designs and give editing privileges if you like. What I like too is on certain designs, you can also add some comments. So let's say you started to create one of your designs and you want to give a comment to your VA or someone else who's going to help you with that. You can add comments to specific parts of that design, and then they'll know what to do with that. And then as far as teams, you can set up team accounts and have all of the team assets in one made hub, so that everybody on your team is using the same style of content, the same brand consistency, and keeps everything nice and cohesive. And that's where the brand kit comes into play as well, because you can even assign certain colors so that your team knows, okay, we only use these colors, we only use these fonts, and then no matter who's creating that design, it all looks like it's part of the same brand.
Yeah, I love that. Is Teams only available in Pro, or is that a basic?
It is a paid, yes, it is a paid feature for Teams, but there are ways that you can share your design so that other people can view it and comment on it, and they can actually see what's going on in there as well. And then you can also actually share the design itself, and they can work on it on their end if they want to.
Super cool. Super cool. So our next question is about diving into the world of media kits and pitch decks and case studies and all of these things. How can we, use Canva to create those assets?
There are a lot of media kit templates that are in Canva. They're very, very useful, and they come in all different forms and styles. And that's definitely a great way to sort of get your name out there for sponsorships and collaborations. Infographics and charts are really good if you want to do a more of a visual based type of style. And I definitely like the idea of when you're sharing that content to share it in multiple forms. You could even go so far as to create a video style media kit rather than a static style media kit. So you could do something along those lines. And then when you're sharing it, big tip is to make sure when you share that content, make sure that your links are clickable. Because in Canva, you can take that PDF file and make any image or any text or link a clickable asset, so that when they open it, they can just click and not have to worry about having to hunt it down or copy and paste.
That's amazing. I love it. Love it. All right. So my last question, we've flown through these. You have provided so much info. I'm just like, I'm learning all the things. Our last
I'm so glad.
question, is how can influencers optimize their designs for engagement and conversions? So thinking things like driving traffic to their website or trying to grow their email list. What are your tips for using Canva to do those things?
A big thing right now is that you want to make sure that your content is mobile friendly, because more and more people are now on their phones viewing content rather than perhaps at their desk or at a laptop. So making sure that your designs are both desktop friendly and laptop friendly is really important. And that has to do with, again, your colors and your font choices. Be really careful with script fonts because it's a little hard to read and we read that a little bit slower. So if you're going to use a mobile friendly content, make sure that if you have a script font, it's something that's complementing your regular fonts as well. Another thing that's really important is you want to make sure that you're highlighting the benefits of what you're offering so that it's beneficial to them. So make sure it's not always like a salesy type of thing. You want to be able to provide that service or that content to help that user. And then it's really important if you're going to do perhaps like a carousel to give them some directional cues. So carousels tend to be several pages long. Put like a little arrow or a little swipe here or something like that down at the bottom so that they know that that content will continue, and it kind of builds up some anticipation. And definitely have a clear call to action on every single post you do. Every reel, every Instagram post, Facebook post, you have to tell them what to do. So if you want them to click your link, you have to tell them to click your link. If you want them to subscribe, you have to tell them that. So make sure that that is not only in your caption, but on your content also, so they know what to do with it.
Great call out. I love that. Well, as we wrap things up, I do want to ask, for somebody who is just brand new to Canva, what is your one biggest takeaway or thing that they should take away from this?
Don't be overwhelmed. There is a lot of content in there. So take it a little bit at a time, especially if you're just starting, because there are so many tools that it's very easy to get confused and frustrated and think, I can't do this. Just take it one step at a time. Pick one thing you want to focus on and just do that and just learn that. Don't worry about all the extra things that are in there. Just give yourself a plan to start out with and do that one thing. And then once you've done that and you've learned that, you can move on to the next thing. But don't get overwhelmed. You will eventually learn it all. It just takes a little bit of time.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love that. Well, thank you so much for being here today. I am so excited about all the things that I know that I learned. I need to get into the bulk create. I need bulk create. That is on my radar right now. So I am, just thank you so much for being here. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and we will see you all next time. Bye.